Are you planning a trip to the Palm Desert area and you're looking at Marriott's Desert Springs Villas? Well, when you've been researching, you've probably noticed there's a Desert Springs Villas 1 and a Desert Springs Villas 2. And you want to know what the differences are? Well, in today's video, I'm going to tell you all about them right after this. Hello and welcome to Destination Timeshare. I'm Jeremy. Before we jump into today's video of Desert Springs Villas 1 versus Desert Springs Villas 2, I want to let you know on this channel, I provide my knowledge, tips, and advice to help you get the most from your timeshare ownership. And even if you don't own timeshare, but you love visiting the fantastic timeshare resort properties all around the world, I also do villa tours, resort tours, and resort reviews as well. So be sure to stick around, hit that subscribe button down below, and also click on that notification bell and select all, and you'll be notified whenever I post new videos. So let's talk about this. You've probably been maybe researching online, whether it be TripAdvisor, Marriott.com, and you're seeing Desert Springs Villas 1 and a Desert Springs Villas 2. And maybe you're just wondering what the differences are. We're going to talk about the villas. So the villas at DSV, I'm going to refer to them as DSV 1 and DSV 2 now. Through the rest of the video, just a little bit easier than saying it all out. But the villas at DSV 1 are actually significantly larger than the others in the other section of DSV 2. The two-bedroom villa is 1,675 square feet, where over in DSV 2 is only 1,404 square feet. So you can see here quite a bit of difference in the size of the villas. If you're comparing the one bedrooms, it's 1,375 square feet versus 1,204 square feet. And the studio units, the smaller sides of the two-bedroom lock-offs, they're 300 square feet at DSV 1 and only 200 square feet at DSV 2. This is all according to Marriott.com, the resort information and villas and rooms section. So as you can see here, the rooms are quite a bit smaller. They are both lock-offs. So the villas at DSV 1 and the villas at DSV 2 both lock off into one bedroom and studio units. So both resorts do have all of the different sizes of units depending on whatever you want to stay in. We've actually stayed in both types of rooms. We've stayed in a two-bedroom in DSV 2 and just a studio unit in DSV 1, but we can kind of give you an idea of what the entire villas are kind of like. Over in DSV 1, they have what I call a stupid vestibule area. It's kind of an area where you enter through a main door into essentially a vestibule, a small kind of common area that is common between the one bedroom and the studio. This isn't so much of a problem if you're staying in an entire two-bedroom unit, because essentially you have reign over that entire area, that vestibule area. But if you're only staying in the studio or the one bedroom, then somebody else is going to be in the other side, and just not quite as much privacy there. You do kind of enter through that main door, and then there are separate locked doors, of course, into the one bedroom and into the studio. But it is kind of noisy in there. The floor is tiled. You can hear people talking, coming in, coming out, the door slamming out there, their door slamming. It might also not be very ideal if you're a family with small children, because essentially your kids are kind of in a completely separate room that's almost always going to be closed off to the room that you're in. Something else about the studios, at least at DSV 1, is the bathrooms do have a nice large soaking tub, whereas the bathrooms at DSV 2, they only have kind of your standard bathtub and shower. Now there is also a walk-in shower over at DSV 1 in that studio, but that might be a good thing to have if you want a nice large soaking tub at the end of a long day, maybe playing golf at the golf course there in Palm Desert. Just one of the other differences there between the two studio units. One other thing we noticed about the studio at DSV 1 is it has two queen beds. So might be a good thing if a small family wants to stay in a studio. It does have two queen beds and a small dining area, but might not be ideal for couples because there is no sofa to kind of just sit and relax and lounge on. Whereas over at DSV 2, you do have a king-size bed and kind of a small kind of sofa with a trundle bed there, small dining area, and of course you do have a pretty good-sized television there. Lots of storage as well in both of the different villas, but something to keep in mind. Two queen beds in DSV 1, where just a king in DSV 2. Another thing we noticed is DSV 1 actually has some really nice kind of medium-sized, mid-sized refrigerators that do have an ice maker, so you're not having to trek out to the pool area to find ice. At DSV 2, the refrigerators there, they're just kind of a mini bar-sized refrigerator They do have a freezer, but there is no ice maker in there. So if you are staying in a studio in DSV2 and you want or need ice, you do have to make a trip to one of the pool areas to find an ice dispenser to get yourself some ice. All right, so now that I've explained kind of the differences between the villas at DSV1 and DSV2, let's talk about the views. Obviously, you're not near the ocean, so you're not going to have great sweeping ocean views here, but there are some things to consider here with the views between the two resorts. At DSV1, you do have some situations where the studio units kind of have what I call a dungeon patio, where the studios that are in the middle of the building, not the ones on the end, but the ones in the middle, those studio patios overlook the parking lot. And they don't necessarily overlook the parking lot, because if you're sitting down, you're kind of down in a hole, unless maybe you're on a top floor. The parking lot views from the studio units at DSV1 aren't ideal. The end units, both the one bedroom and the studio, do have views of the golf course. And pretty much all of those villas there that aren't studios, whether it's a 2-bedroom or a 1-bedroom, all of those are going to have great golf course views at DSV1. Now over at DSV2, you don't have any of those kind of views that are to the parking lot from a studio, but you do have some views from some of the villas that might not overlook the golf course. Some of them might overlook kind of a grassy area, or a grassy area and the roadway where cars are coming in and out. So keep that in mind. Your villa at DSV2, whether it's a 1-bedroom studio or 2-bedroom, might overlook kind of a roadway, not really ideal, maybe a little bit more noisy. Whereas DSV1, outside of those studios, if you have a 1-bedroom or a 2-bedroom booked, you're going to be able to get a nice quiet view out to the golf course. All right, now the next thing to talk about here is the pools. Technically, if you're staying at either of the two resorts, whether it be Desert Springs Villas 1 or Villas 2, you can use the pools at either of those resorts in either section. DSV1 has 3 pools, 2 pretty small pools, actually really small pools, and the one kind of main pool that's at the clubhouse where the main check-in lobby and registration is. These pools actually all tend to be pretty quiet. We even noticed the one at the main check-in, the clubhouse pool in DSV1, rarely had very many people at it. Now over in DSV2, you do have 2 smaller pools as well, but it's kind of where you'll also find the main feature pool. This is obviously the newer resort of the 2, and it kind of has, like I said, a feature pool where you'll also find the Water's Edge Bar and Grill. So if you're looking for on-site food and beverage, you're going to have to head over to DSV2 if you're staying in DSV1. So it is kind of one of the benefits of being in DSV2 is you essentially have that on-site food and beverage really close by, not too far of a walk from anywhere there, or even just a short drive. Now I'm going to talk about one of the main differences, the big difference here between DSV1 and DSV2, and that has to do with the JW Marriott hotel that's right next door, actually really close to DSV1. And the great thing about being a DSV1 owner or guest staying at Desert Springs Villas 1 is that you actually have access to hotel facilities and the day spa over there. You do get a day pass only through the week, Monday through Friday. Just tell them that you're a guest at DSV1 and it will give you access to the adults only pool in the spa, as well as I believe a number of the treatment rooms. Obviously it doesn't include massages or stone treatments or any of those other types of treatments that require somebody to give you the treatment. The saunas, the steam rooms, and the pool area, the adult only pool in the spa area, you get access to. You do also have access to the pool facilities at the JW Marriott. But something we notice is they're not really closed off, locked off, or anything like that. So I believe that guests from either Desert Springs Villas 1 or 2 can go over and utilize the pools there. They are pretty crowded. Actually, the pools over at the timeshare side are just as nice and a little bit quieter. One other thing is all of the restaurants that are available there at the hotel, anybody, of course, can access those. So if you're staying in Desert Springs Villas 1 or 2, or even you're just staying around town, you can go and dine in the restaurants over there. Great thing here is, though, at Desert Springs Villas, they have a shuttle that will take you over there. So you don't have to worry about walking, because they actually do charge a parking fee over there. All right, one other big thing I want to point out here with Desert Springs Villas 2 is they have a section called Jasmine Court. And this is kind of a separate area, almost a resort within a resort. To access it, you do have to take a car, or they do have a shuttle, and drive on the main roadways to get around to this other section. So a lot of people might not like this. You're not in the main resort area with easy access to on-site food and beverage, the feature pool, all the other pools, the clubhouse. But they do have their own fitness center over in Jasmine Court. They also have their own Marketplace Express. So just one thing to keep in mind, if you're considering booking Desert Springs Villas 2, you might end up over in Jasmine Court. Some people like it, some people don't. It's kind of like Kingfish at Marriott's Ocean Point in Florida. If you've ever looked into that or stayed there, you might know what that is. It's a separate building separated from the main part of the resort by essentially a residential condo. I actually did a couple videos about that. I'll put a link to one up here of Exiled to Kingfish. But yeah, one thing to keep in mind at Desert Springs Villas 2 is Jasmine Court. You might not like it. All right, so there you have it, the comparison between Marriott's Desert Springs Villas 1 and 2. I'm kind of curious, are you planning a trip there? Let me know all about it down in the comments below. And we actually spent a couple of weeks between the two resorts. If you want to know more about them, have any questions, be sure to ask those questions also down in the comments below, and I'll be sure to get back to you. And if you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Really helps out this video. Also helps to tell YouTube that you like these types of videos too, and to give you and push you more just like it. And to see more videos all about timeshare, check out the description box below. And for another video about one of the two properties at Marriott's Desert Springs Villas, check out this one right up here, and YouTube. I think you'll like that one down there. Be sure to subscribe. You can do so by clicking on my picture right here. Hit that notification bell. And until next time, let's make your next destination a timeshare.